PlantX Vodcast, episode 28, recap.
Our greenhouse warehouse bringing plants in and having a centralized distribution point across Canada because of some of the fillers we had previously. The demand was so high for plants across Canada, we decided to take it in our own hands. And today on the show, we actually have the director of the whole operation as far as plants go across the country. Kay, welcome to the show.
Hi, Sean. Thank you very much for having me.
As the viewers know, we acquired Bloombox last year, at the end of last year, and it's been off to a great start. But having someone with your background brings everything to the next level. So I guess the big question is, what first drew you to this whole plant-based world and growing plants and all of that?
Yeah, I kind of just walked into it. I originally was in the logistics industry, and with that industry, you work really long hours. And after a couple of years, I just felt really burnt out and didn't have a lot of time to cultivate interests or hobbies for myself outside of the one or two that I already had. And at that point in time, I just had this one single orchid. And it had finished blooming, and it was this pitiful little stick and some leaves. And I just remember looking at it, just thinking, there's got to be more to your life than this. I researched it, and I kind of figured out what its native habitat would normally be like, and I tried to replicate that. And that whole experience really drew me into the horticulture industry and just opened up the door for me, and my love of plants has just exploded. There's a lot of plants out there that ultimately I would love to carry, but I really think about what's best for our consumers at that point in time. What is ultimately going to be a successful experience for them? So I'm looking at plants that can make the journey to them through the shipping and logistic aspects of it, and then what's going to acclimate to their house and what's going to be ready to start growing for them and what they're going to have a wonderful experience with. That's how I pick. Greenhouses are jam-packed full of people. It takes a lot of people to make them work and run efficiently and to produce quality plants. And a lot of them shut down right at the beginning of COVID, and they basically had to restart, right? There was nobody really caring for the plants that had already been started. So there's a small deficit there. 10 years ago, there was a huge hurricane that knocked out a lot of the plants in Florida and California. And that was a huge hit. So right now, greenhouses are pumping out as many plants as they can, but they take time to grow. So it's basically just developing a relationship with them and knowing what is a good plant for our consumers instead of spreading ourselves really thin with a massive selection that maybe won't survive the shipping periods.
I agree with you. We've got to make sure that the plant is the right fit. No point in selling it if customers aren't going to be happy. We want them to refer it to their friends. When Bloombox Canada launches, hopefully in the next month or so, we obviously want to do a subscription-based business, and it's really important. Why would people keep their subscriptions if they weren't getting plants that they love and are able to take care of?
Right now, our society is very busy. We're very much about the hustle, getting to the next goal. And a lot of that means that we're heads down, focused on our phones and our screens. And plants naturally give us a really relieving sense and a calming effect when we are working with them, when we're looking at them, when we're walking amongst them. I know I always feel better after a hike or a run, especially in forested areas. I think a lot of people were stuck at home and didn't have the opportunity to leave. And most homes don't have a lot of plants in them, and that can be really draining. Your natural sense probably creates greenery outside, something fresh, something joyful, something just new. Whether you are a new plant parent or you're looking to give a welcoming gift, a office plant to somebody, I would really suggest looking for something that is low maintenance, that can tolerate some neglect, especially if you are a busier person. The snake plant is excellent. It really doesn't ask for much. It just kind of continues on going. And then a leafier plant would actually be like a Dracaena Janet Craig. They're both excellent for air purifying. They don't require a ton of water, and they can survive for a lot. Something like this size, kind of what we sell, they're smaller. They're not the massive floor plants that you might see in a mall or a movie theater or hospital. We're looking for something that we can add to your home something that's not going to get in your way, something that you're going to truly appreciate. So we're looking for little to medium-sized guys that are just easy additions. We have all of our packing materials ready to go, pre-established. So essentially, once we receive the order, we basically go right to the rack that it's selected on, and all of our plants are organized by the light intensity that they need, as well as what kind of plant they fall into, whether they're succulent, they're vining, or they're requiring high light. So that's how it's organized. And we just go and select our plants. We make sure they're all packaged nice and tight, tucked in, wrapped up so soil doesn't explode out of the box. And then they get placed in their little box, which will be their new home for the next 3 to 5 business days, and shipped off out the door the same day.
So when we started and we were buying Bloombox UK, Katie and her team did an amazing job building that business. And then with our know-how on the e-commerce side, a formula that I've used in the past where you take one country, for example, they were in the UK, and we start spinning it up into multiple countries, because once you have the supply chain developed, it's quite easy to bring people onto your team that speak different languages that you could then expand. And we're doing it, for example, here in Canada. Once we launch Bloombox Canada, with the following they have, I think it'll be really, really amazing. We're selling well over 500 plants a day, and we're hoping to get over 2,000 plants shipping a day over the next few months. And then coming into the fall, once again, we just see that trend picking up leading into the Christmas season. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how large this vertical is. And what's amazing for PlantX is it's just one fraction of all the verticals we have. Until next week, stay curious, stay planted, stay healthy. Cheers.